Okay, so our translation beginning at chapter 4, verse 16. For this reason, we are not despondent, discouraged. You're in the midst of pressure, and you're going to be tempted to become despondent, discouraged, but obviously that's not in the picture. Therefore, for this reason, we are not despondent, discouraged. On the contrary, even though this outer body, this outer man of ours is wasting away, the inner man of ours is being renewed day by day. And so this is seeing the vertical instead of seeing the horizontal meaning. The vertical is becoming more like Christ on your way to super grace blessings, SG2 or SG3, super grace in time, or super grace in eternity future. It's being renewed day by day. For you see, the momentary levity of our afflictions produces to our benefit an eternal weight of glory, beyond measure to more beyond measure. Beyond measure, these are the super grace blessings in time. To more beyond measure, these are the super grace blessings in eternity future. As we do not fix our eyes on the things seen, but on the things not seen. Because the things seen, transitory, temporary, but the things not seen, eternal. And so, what is this? We do not fix on the things seen. They do not see the horizontal meanings. They don't focus on the horizontal meanings. They do not focus on the problems. But on the things not seen, they focus on the vertical meanings to everything. They focus on the solution and the promise that is going to come along to that. There is wonderful blessing. There is wonderful reward. Unfortunately, we want things a certain way, and we do not tap into this wonderful system that God has provided for us. We want things our way, and you cannot get cute or fancy and try to form your own system to getting there. You have to do it God's way. This is what we call the protocol plan of God. Okay. Chapter 5, verse 1. For we know that if this earthly house of ours, that is the tabernacle, is demolished, we have a building from God, a house not made by human hands, eternal in heaven. For this cause indeed we groan, since we yearn to be clothed, or to clothe over ourselves with our dwelling from heaven. If indeed, having been clothed, we shall not be found naked. For we indeed, the ones being in this tabernacle, the physical body, we groan as we are weighed down with pressure, because we do not wish to strip ourselves, this is physical death, making a transition to the inner body, but rather to clothe ourselves over, this is the resurrection body at the rapture, clothe ourselves over it, so that the mortal might be swallowed up by life. The physical body being swallowed up by the resurrection body. No transition, he just wants to be swallowed up. Verse 5. But God is the one who has prepared us for this very purpose. God is the one that decides. He's the one that prepared us for this very purpose. At the end of the day, we're going to be in a resurrected body with our super grace blessings, forever enjoying Him. The one who gave us to our benefit the deposit of guarantee, which is the Holy Spirit. Deposit of guarantee, this is a guarantee of the resurrection body and of all the portfolio of invisible assets. The Holy Spirit is the one that does that. This is the deposit, and you use it also as the means to advance all the way to super grace. Once you get to super grace, then those super grace blessings of hope too become the first fruits of the Spirit. Why the first fruits of the Spirit? First fruits is because that it is the first fruits of all the blessings that were promised to you of the Spirit, because the Spirit is the one that was the means to take you to that point. As per Romans chapter 8, verse 23. And so God is the one that decides. He's the one that gave us the deposit of guarantee. And therefore, we form a conclusion. Verse 6, therefore, we are confident, courageous at all times, even though we know that we are absent from the Lord while we are present in this body. If you prefer this, we are confident, courageous at all times, even though we know that while we are present in this body, we are absent from the Lord. In other words, we're still confident even though we're absent from our abode. So this is talking about us being absent from this body and just being with the Lord in an interim body. It's not talking about the resurrection body anymore. It just switches to The difference between us being in this body versus being with God, being with the Lord. And so he's confident. But he's about to explain how. How do you keep that confidence? Yes, because of the deposit. But yes, you need doctrine to understand this. That doctrine needs to form a personal sense of destiny. And then we have, because we walk through doctrine, or by doctrine if you prefer better English, because we walk through doctrine and not through sight. This is divine viewpoint versus human viewpoint, all the way to having a personal sense of destiny. That's how you form the confidence, even though you're absent from the body. Absent from the Lord, as you are present in the body. Now, we've arrived at verse 8. Let us see, what do we have here? Another word, tharomen. Okay, what does the NIV say first of all? We are confident, I say, and I would prefer to be away from the body and at home with the Lord. You notice how this doesn't really make sense? I mean, these are pretty good translations, but therefore we're always confident and know that as long as we are at home in the body, we are away from the Lord. Okay, what is confidence? And okay, I'm confident about knowing that I'm away from the Lord. What does that have to do? For we live by faith, not by sight. We are confident, I say, and I would prefer to be away from the body and at home with the Lord. That doesn't really make sense. There's a kind of like a contradiction here between knowing that you're absent from God, you're away from the Lord, and still being confident in this life. So that's the reason why I translated, and justifiably so. Verse 6. Therefore we are confident, even though we know that we are absent from the Lord, while we are present in this body. We are at home in this body. It's not a contradiction, however, it's a paradox. Because we walk through doctrine and not through sight. And now verse 8, here we are. We have a post positive in they. And so we're going to translate this so. And so, tharumen, present active indicative of thareon, another word for confidence, courageous. This is gate 5 and gate 6 of the divine power sphere. Gate 5 is confidence towards God. Gate 6 is courage towards all mankind. This confidence, this personal love for God does produce courage towards all mankind and circumstances. Even though you're absent from the Lord, you know that you have confidence. You know that you're still in the system. Plus, you have the indwelling of God the Son, God the Father, and God the Holy Spirit. Well, let's stick to the subject right now. You are confident because you have divine viewpoint instead of human viewpoint, all the way to personal sense of destiny. Without these, you would not know that you have the arabona, the positive guarantee, which is the Holy Spirit. Okay, present active indicative, taromen. We are confident, courageous. And this is a customary present for something that is expected to occur for anyone who has divine viewpoint, doctrinal viewpoint, instead of human viewpoint, all the way to having a personal sense of destiny. You become confident and courageous even though you're absent from the Lord. That's why I translated a customary present, because this is something that's customary or habitual to occur when a believer advances all the way. The active voice, Paul and his team produce the action of the verb. They have enough doctrine, but this also applies to us once you get enough doctrine. And the indicative mood, this is from the viewpoint of reality. So we are confident, courageous. You do not like that translation. I do not like it either. I don't like to put two words together, but that's the way I can put it together so as to capture gate 5 and gate 6 of the divine power sphere. We are confident. So we are confident, courageous, and then we have kai, and then we also have a present active indicative of eudokumen. And so we have these two indicative, present active indicatives, just as over here we have two present active participles. Here we are confident even though something, a coterminous action. Here we also have a coterminous action between these two indicatives. And we're going to translate it while. We are confident while we do something. We prefer. Eudokumen. This is the present active indicative of eudokeo. Dokeo means to think subjectively, to render, to consider. But eu means good. At the end it means something like we take pleasure in. So you think something with pleasure. You resolve, you determine, you choose. Here with the comparative malon, which is rather or instead, we're going to translate both of these two. We prefer. We prefer to rather. It sounds too redundant. If you want to put it that way, go ahead. But we prefer. We prefer. Okay. The difference between eudokeo and over here, thelo. Where is it? Like here, expressing desire. And where are we? Epipoteo, where are you? Okay. Epipotuntes, here it is. This is yearning, a strong desire, almost like needing something. Over here we have thelo. As soon as I can find it. Oh yeah, thelo man. So this expresses a desire, but with a strong emotion. Many times this does not have to be doctrinal, even though we know that this is doctrinal because it's Paul who's speaking. It's not doctrinal in the sense that he's trying to superimpose it on God. No, he's not really trying to, but he's expressing his preference. He wants it to happen now. I know what I want and I want it now. I want this, so God give me it. No, you cannot superimpose your time on God. Here, eudokeo implies the doctrinal thinking. You prefer something. And this is normal doctrinal thinking. This is doctrine. The fact that you prefer to be with God already. And that's normal doctrine. He is not trying to superimpose anything on God. He's not trying to say, God, I want it now or anything. He just says he prefers something. And we also have to come to the point of learning enough doctrine that we prefer to be with God instead of being in this body. If you're still like this body too much, you like being on this earth, then you probably do not have a personal sense of destiny yet. You probably do not have enough doctrine yet to see God's greatness, God's great essence, and yearn to be with him. It's okay. It all takes time. And so, yes. And where are we? Verse 8. We are confident, courageous, while we prefer. We prefer. And then we have two complementary infinitives. Two complementary infinitives. Where are we? Oh, yes. Did I go over the morphology of eudokemo? So this is also a customary present, something that is habitual, customary to occur when you have enough doctrine. You begin to prefer to be absent from the body and face to face with the Lord. It doesn't matter if it's an interim body or a resurrection body. You just want to be with God already. The active voice, Paul and his team, produces the action of the verb, and by way of application, us, we also, when we have enough doctrine, we also prefer to be with God. And the indicative mood, this is from the viewpoint of reality, the reality that a believer prefers to be with God. Not prefer to be with God in a cowardly sense. Some people, when they want to be with God, or they want the rapture to occur because they want all the problems to end already. They just found out that they had cancer, or a man just got locked up because he committed a terrible crime and all this, and he just wants all this to end, and he says, oh, I hope the rapture already happens. What is he saying? I cannot stand this. I want the rapture to occur already, so that time can be cut off already. And so because I want that time to be cut off for me, I want it to be cut off for everyone. No, that's not the way it works. That's cowardice. Here, this is a legitimate desire, doctrinal desire, to prefer to be with God, absent from the body and face to face with the Lord. And so we prefer. You prefer to what? We have two complementary infinitives over here. Same words, ekdeimesa. And this is the same word that we saw up here. As soon as I can get it. Over here is a participle, however. Ekdeimomen. Absent. Same meaning, being away from your people, being away from your town, from your city, away from your country. And so we're going to translate it absent. To be absent from ek tu somatos. Absent, and then obviously that's ek plus the genitive, ablative genitive of separation, away from the body. Absent, away from the body.